pas athée et qu'il prie, à chaque matin qu'il se réveille et qu'il prie, il devrait aussi prier les Africains. Parce que c'est grâce à nos ancêtres qu'il existe aujourd'hui une France.
Africa has just changed the game. The West thought they could control Africa forever. They thought our uranium, our gold, our oil, our diamonds would always flow into their industries, while our people remained poor. But today, under the leadership of Ibrahim Traoré and the unstoppable AES Alliance, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and beyond, Africa has drawn a red line. The message is clear. No more free ride. No more theft. Africa will not power your industries while our children starve. This decision to cut uranium exports to the West is sending shockwaves through global markets. France's nuclear industry is trembling. Europe's lights could go dark. America is in panic. And here's the truth. This is only the beginning. This is bigger than one deal, one resource, or one nation. This is about Africa finally standing up and saying, we will decide our destiny. We will control our resources. We will choose who benefits. The West is in shock. But Africa? Africa is rising. Stay with me, because in this explosive breakdown, I will show you how Traoré and the AES Alliance pulled off this bold move. Why uranium is the weapon the West fears most. How this decision will reshape the global order. And why this is the turning point for Pan-African freedom. This is history in motion. This is the moment the chains are breaking. This is the revolution our ancestors prayed for. Who is this young leader who has shaken the Western world to its core? Ibrahim Traoré, only in his 30s, rose to power in Burkina Faso at a time when his people were under siege. Terrorism, poverty, and corruption ran deep. But instead of bowing to the old order, Traoré lit a fire. He spoke the words no African leader dared to speak in decades. We will not be slaves in our own land. Our resources will not feed the West while our people suffer. From that moment, Traoré became the symbol of Africa's new revolution. A Pan-African warrior, uniting not only Burkina Faso, but Mali, Niger, and soon others in what is now called the Alliance of Sahel States, AES. Traoré is young, fearless, and unbought. He doesn't travel to Europe begging for loans. He doesn't kneel before the IMF. Instead, he looks to Africa, to the BRICS, to alliances built on respect, not exploitation. And now, he has delivered the move that has the West trembling, cutting off uranium supplies. Let's be crystal clear. Uranium is not just a rock in the ground. It is power. France, for example, depends on uranium from Africa, especially from Niger, to power its nuclear plants. Without it, French industries collapse, and European lights go out. For decades, France bled Africa dry. They took Niger's uranium for pennies while Niger's people lived in poverty. Children died of hunger while France's Eiffel Tower shone bright, powered by African uranium. But now, AES has flipped the script. By cutting uranium, Africa is saying, if you want our resources, you will pay fair. If you want our uranium, it will not be for your greed. It will be for African development first. This one resource, uranium, has become Africa's bargaining chip, its nuclear card on the global chessboard. And the West knows it. That's why panic is spreading across Paris, Brussels, Washington, and London. Make no mistake, the West is not just worried, they are terrified. Industries are already trembling. France's nuclear sector, 70% dependent on uranium, is in danger. Energy prices in Europe are spiking. American companies that rely on uranium imports are scrambling. And it's not just energy. Western financial markets are jittering. Because if Africa can hold back uranium, what stops Africa from cutting off cobalt? From slowing down gold? From keeping its oil and lithium? This isn't just about uranium. This is about Africa realizing its power. For centuries, Africa was seen as weak, divided, exploitable. But now, with Traoré, Goïta, and Kiani leading the AES, Africa is acting like a united front. And the West cannot handle it. The AES Alliance is more than military cooperation. It is a Pan-African rebirth. Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, soon, Ghana, Guinea, Chad, and more may join. Together, they are rejecting colonial chains and building something new. A Pan-African bloc that controls some of the world's most critical resources. Together they control uranium, Niger, gold, Burkina Faso, oil, Chad, Niger, lithium, Mali. This is power. And when united, no Western nation can bully them. AES is the spark of something bigger, a continental wave. It is the spirit of Sankara, Nkrumah, Lumumba, Mandela, all reborn in a new generation. Of course, the Western media cannot admit the truth. So they scream, dictatorship, coup, instability. But here's the reality. For decades, so-called democracies in Africa only meant leaders chosen by the West, serving Western corporations. The people know better. That's why when Traoré speaks, Africans cheer. That's why when Niger kicked out France, the people danced in the streets. Western media calls it chaos. Africans call it liberation. So, where does Africa go from here? Not to the IMF. Not to France. Not to the EU. Africa is turning to BRICS. To China, Russia, India, Brazil, South Africa. Partnerships built not on charity, but on respect and mutual benefit. Already, Russia is supporting uranium development. India is investing in gold and infrastructure. China is building railways and factories. Africa is choosing its partners wisely. And for the first time, Africa has leverage. This is not just politics. This is spiritual. This is ancestral. For 500 years, Africa was colonized, enslaved, exploited. But now, Africa is remembering its strength. The voices of our ancestors are rising. Stand tall. Defend your land. Take back your wealth. From the Sahel to the Cape, from Dakar to Dar es Salaam, a fire is spreading. It is the Pan-African Revolution, and Traoré and the AES are carrying the torch. For too long, they grew fat while we starved. They shone bright while we sat in darkness. But today, we say and no more. Traoré and the AES have shown us that unity is power. That one decision, to cut uranium, can send shockwaves across the globe. This is only the beginning. Africa is rising. The world is watching. And the future belongs to us. The chains are breaking. The empire is trembling. Africa is rising. Do you think the West will sit quietly as Africa rises? Do you think France, America, the European Union will just clap their hands and say, "Congratulations, Africa, we wish you well"? Never. Already, they are plotting. Already, they are scheming. Already, they are preparing their old toolbox of lies, manipulation, and sabotage. They will send their NGOs to cry about human rights. They will send their media to scream about dictatorships. They will send their economists to warn about instability. And when that fails, they will send their spies, their mercenaries, their drones. But here's what they don't understand. This generation is not afraid. Ibrahim Traoré is not afraid. Assimi Goïta is not afraid. Abdurrahmane Tiani is not afraid. And most importantly, the African people are not afraid anymore. For every one leader they target, a million more voices rise. For every lie they spread, the truth spreads faster through Africa's youth, through social media, through Pan-African unity. The West is desperate. They can no longer control Africa through fear. They can no longer manipulate Africa with empty promises. Yes, they may try sanctions. Yes, they may try coups. Yes, they may even try assassinations. But hear me now. You cannot assassinate an idea whose time has come. You cannot kill the African spirit that is awake. The more they try to crush us, the stronger we become. And that is why the collapse of their industries is not just economic. It is symbolic. It represents the collapse of their psychological control over Africa. For centuries, they told us we were weak. But now the West is shaking. Now they are begging. Now they are exposed. And Africa? Africa is finally standing tall. Let us in with fire. Let us in with clarity. Let us in with the truth that must echo across Africa and the world. This uranium cut, this collapse of Western industries, this shockwave sent by Traoré and the AES Alliance, it is not the end. It is the beginning. But beginnings require responsibility. And Africa's diaspora must act. Return home with skills, investments, and ideas. Stand with Africa in the streets of New York, London, Paris, Toronto. Amplify Africa's voice everywhere you go. This is bigger than Traoré. Bigger than AES. Bigger than uranium. This is about Africa taking her rightful place in the world. We are not begging. We are not asking permission. We are not kneeling. We are unstoppable. The West may be shocked today, but tomorrow, they will have no choice but to respect Africa. Because when Africa stands united, when Africa controls its wealth, when Africa speaks with one voice, There is no empire, no nation, no institution on earth that can defeat us. Say it with me. Family. Africa will never kneel again. This is the dawn of a new age. This is the fire of Pan-Africanism. This is our destiny. And together, we will win.